Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'll be covering the best new class mods in Baldur's Gate 3's Mod Manager. We got 4 different classes here, each covering a different archetype. First, starting off with the Leader Homebrew class by Graphic Fade. This class just received a major update with unique icons, 3 new subclasses, and new VFX. Basically, you get to control a character that you're fighting against and make them a loyal companion, which will fight alongside you. We also have the Fiend Hunter, which is a ranged attacker, which has a bunch of different abilities like different arrows, entangling arrows. You can get some summons and different spells like elemental arrows. This comes with 3 subclasses and its own unique armor and weapons. And we also got kind of a festive one, the Frost Reaper here. I love cold damage builds, and this is like a Frost Knight. And the Anvil, which is a tanky class focused on heavy armor and hammers. First off, we got the Leader Homebrew class here, which is really cool because when you're fighting against an enemy, you can use your spell here, Loyal Pawn, to make them a teammate. You control them as if they were a summon, and we got a bunch of different abilities that we can add alongside that. You can see all the different spells that we got here. It also has Mistress Spells support. And one thing I really appreciate is Graphic Fade has laid out all the progressions very well on Mod.io, as well on Nexus Mods, so you can see the progressions of each of the subclasses as well. So very well done. So you're able to choose an archetype for your companion as well. So whoever you choose to fight alongside you, if you want them to be more of a melee combatant or a skirmisher or more of a support caster or ranged attacker. Each of these do come with a bunch of different benefits for them. Like for example, if you want them to be a vanguard, they get a +3 to their armor class and get a bonus reduction to damage equal to their constitution modifier +2. Now, the leader has 5 different subclasses right now, with the warlord being more of like a charisma strength-based attacker, and you can inspire your teammates to get an extra attack at using a bonus action. The evangelist, kind of like a diet version of the cleric. You do get some cantrips and spells related to buffing up your teammates and selection from the cleric cantrip list. The broker is a cool one. It's kind of like a strategist type technical class. You get the ability to exploit leverages here, and you can actually buy your companion's bonus action off of them using motivational charges. You also get the Gilded Hand here, which you can use your motivation charges to sometimes get some good items. The Empath is more of like an enchantment illusion type caster here with a variety of different spells and cantrips focused on that. Things like Mind Sliver if you got the Mistress spells installed. And you also get the emotional static bonus action here, which can potentially break concentrations. It's actually pretty fun. The Empath is a cool one, newly added. And the Puppeteer, which gets these different strands that you can use to debuff the enemy. And then you also get a wide variety of different spells and cantrips. I really like the Puppeteer for their wide variety of spells and the different strand attacks that you can do, which will debuff, maybe remove the enemy's movement speed a bit or silence them. It's actually pretty interesting. But I want to show off the Empath for this one because I think it's also it's hard to pick a favorite. They're all really cool in their own unique lane. But with the Empath, you get to pick between these different cantrips here, access to the wide variety of spells, and then the emotional static. Now, the Empath at level 2 gets to choose between one resonant charge here. You get Shared Empathy, which can reduce the amount of damage that an ally will take, equal to their our Constitution modifier, and this will scale up at higher levels. There's also the Disheartened Gaze, which will give a minus to the enemy's attack rolls and saving throws, and the Emotional Fortitude, which can give temporary health points. Level 3 is when you get the Loyal Companion here, so a powerful connection forms, drawing a target to your size devoted companion. Now, there are some limitations on this. I just want to mention them just so you can. Bosses won't obviously be applied, and I would not recommend doing this on any major characters because there could be some that still may be able to. There's a lot that aren't able to be controlled, but if you do it on there may be some issues that pop up. And if you control a different companion when you currently have one, it'll make it aggro onto you, so just be mindful of that. And if you control them, you don't get their loot until you stop controlling them, so if you want to fight them and get what they carry. Now, you can also choose to change or resonate, and all the different subclass abilities, you can swap them out, kind of similar to the Swarm Keeper Ranger. It's pretty cool. And then you also are Prepared Caster, so you get a lot of choice. What I like about this class is kind of a buffer. It makes for a really good face of the party, too. Like with this, you can give it advantage on the next attack roll for one of your teammates using a bonus action, a motivational charge, or you can hold a concentration, giving a sympathetic link on them and healing your teammates. This will reduce the damage that they take and add additional 1d4 of psychic damage onto their attacks. There's also different auras for the different subclasses too, which is pretty cool because there's the aura of Psychic Drain, which gives any enemy in the area psychic damage equal to your charisma modifier. The aura of Fertility, which will give it -2 penalty to their strength and dexterity save and throws. My favorite, the aura of Resonance, which converts all weapon damage into psychic damage, which if the Resonance Stone will double the damage on top of that. It's really cool. Just a heads up, that is pretty overpowered though. Just want to warn you. Now, level 7's when this really ramps up because now you get the companion archetypes, which lets you choose those archetypes I showed previously. Now, at levels 8, 12, 16, and 20, you get the Edicts of Command. Now, There's a whole page on Nexus Mod describing exactly what all these do. There's a lot of different abilities, and you get different tiers of them as you level up as well. They're really cool. So my two favorites I'm going to show off here is the United Front. So you have to do a performance check of 10. You can either hype your team up and give them 15 temporary health and a +1 to armor class, but if you fail, they get discombobulated, which gives a -1 to attack or armor class. I think that's a really cool ability because you can fail it and have a bit of a debuff. And I also like to lead the way, so you can make a athletics check DC 12, and if it's succeeded, they get on the doubling their movement speed and giving disengage. But if they fail, they get confused footing, which only halves their movement speed. So again, another buff that could potentially go wrong. And the thing is, this class gets a lot of different abilities as you continue to level up. One of the most powerful spells in Mr. Spell's Synaptic Static, the Emotional Sway, which allows you to take over another companion for a turn, which is really cool when you already have one companion. They also fixed a bug where if you respec, you actually get to keep your companion, so that's really cool too. If you need to swap something out, you don't have to worry about the getting aggroed and fighting people in your camp. Now, I could talk about this mod for literally like 50 minutes, so I'm just going to call it right here. This class will get a future video, and if you want to use the companion in combat, I'd recommend using some of these buffs here and kind of strategizing your character around playing with this double here. I also do want to mention the original idea came from DD Whale, and Incogno Burrito helped out with the Osiris scripting and the Loyal Companion, as well as making the class icons, and Sans Helvetica has helped out with the class progression. And next we got the Fiend Hunter class by Christic Knight here. Now, what I love about this is these infernal arts. You got things like the piercing arrow there, which lets you shoot through multiple enemies up to 12 meters. It's really cool. This class is a little bit powerful, but I think it's fun. And if you're going to be using some powerful class mods, you may as well use things like Tactician Enhance. We also get Entangling Arrows, which can cut movement speed in half. And any target within 5 meters will also get chained by this, which is really cool. There's also Ebola shots, which will detonate after a turn. So this is kind of strategic because in Baldur's Gate 3, typically combat ends pretty quickly, but this can set up new ways to play, and you can also throw these on the ground. There's also Caltrops here, which will make the target take piercing damage with every step, so that can actually scale up pretty good damage. And there's also the Flurry of Knives, giving you increased critical hit chances. You spin around with your knives, stabbing and making targets bleed, or potentially maiming them, reducing movement speed. At level 2, you get to summon a companion, and you get yourself a companion cat. You also get to choose a fighting style between archery, steady aim, ranged weapons no longer have disadvantage when threatened, and you get a +1 bonus to ranged weapon attack rolls, so close attacks, really fun, I love that, and another infernal art. There's also new infernal arts as you continue to level up. The elemental arrow or hungering arrow here, I really like the elemental one. We get 3 different choices for subclasses: Path of the Vindicator, Path of the Marauder, and Path of the Hellstrider. The Vindicator will generate hatred, which is used for their abilities a little bit quicker than the others. The Marauder can have multiple companions out, and they'll teleport back to you at will. And the Hellstrider is the tankiest of the 3, and at level 3 you get basically the evasion feat as well. Critical hits will restore your discipline. The cool thing about this is we do get new abilities at each level, like the Bloodlust here, giving bonuses to your attack rolls, cannot be charmed or frightened. There's also the Shadow Sight, letting you see through magical darkness, cannot be blinded, and seeing invisible creatures. And then there's also the Summon Companion Raven now at level 4. And it's a poison raven, pretty cool. Level 5 gives an extra attack. You get a recuperation, which gives you back your discipline, as well as a companion bat, and another infernal art with new ones like Strafe or Fusillade. Level 6 gives us Cloak of Shadow, making attack rolls have disadvantage against us. We also get this here, which will siphon health points, and then when we are below half our health, we'll siphon more health, and this gives the whenever we damage enemies, so we can basically just lifesteal off of them. And then we also get a companion spider. And what's cool is you now get a mastery, so you can actually choose a mastered version of one of the infernal arts that we chose previously, which is actually a really fun choice. If you find you're using a certain skill more, it may make sense to take one of these, but there's a lot of different benefits to each of these. Level 7 gives us a sentry we can summon in, as well as a companion wolf. You can continually keep picking new masteries too as you continue to unlock more infernal arts. Every time you dodge with this subclass, you get an increased critical hit chance, and that resets whenever you get hit. And if you want to take this to level 12, you'll get 4 masteries, although there is now level 20 support on this mod, which each comes with its own unique abilities. So here you can see all the different abilities. I think the icons look fantastic. So here's our piercing shot. You can shoot in a straight line, and it can apply any of your bow's abilities. So I have Fairy Fire on that. We have Vault, summon our companions in here. So if you want to bring in your wolf, and with certain subclasses you can, with a certain subclass you can summon in multiple of them. I really like the Poison Raven myself, which is a 1d6 poison damage. We also have the Caltrops there we can shoot at the ground. And with those, then anyone that walks on is going to take every single step 1 to 4 damage. So it actually scales up really quickly compared to other things like Spike Growth. We have our different arrows here. So you got like the Rhyme Arrow, which you can enhance with some special abilities. We have the Hungering Arrow, which will ricochet and splinter around to multiple targets, kind of like an arrow of many targets, which is really fun. We also got the Fusillade there, letting you do a multi-attack. They only do a third of the normal damage, but what's cool is it can break down unstoppable charges pretty quickly. You got recuperation. You can summon in the sentries here to help out your team. And the sentries do a bit of fire damage here, so they're pretty cool. They're reskinned. The bolus shot's really fun too, because it does have the delayed fire damage whenever you go to shoot it. So yeah, this class comes with a lot of fun abilities. Now, winter is coming. That's why I thought the Frost Reaper would be a perfect class to cover. It's kind of like a scythe attacker. This mod's made by EddieMain21. You can use scythes with it. That's kind of the intention here, because you get the freezing strike here, which can possibly freeze your target. Freezing is really fun because this will double your bludgeoning, thunder, and force damage, which are kind of, you don't get to freeze enemies often in the base game. I always love that condition. There's also the chill touch here, which is like bone chill, but cold damage. And you can do it as a bonus action. This class is a little bit powerful, but it's fun. You also get to choose fighting styles. Level 2 lets you ignore difficult terrain from ice so you don't slip on it, and you get resistance to cold damage and immunity to cold weather. And you can also treat your scythe as a focus for the Frostcraft, adding charisma for damage rolls with it. You also get a bunch of different ice-themed spells here, so you get Armor of Agathis, Frost Breath, Cataclysm, the Snow Blind, which can ends up basically a Sleet Storm version. And then we also get the Icy Grasp there, which is like a cold damage version of Vampiric Touch. Level 3 gives us a icy version of Riposte here, and then we also get the Rime Rend, which you strike a weak point and shatter internal frost. If the target is already slowed, restrained, frozen, the attack will bleed. You also get +1 armor class when you're not wearing heavy armor, so this is great for the Armor of Agility. Scythe Strike will make your target bleed. It does additional cold damage and uses 2 reaping charges. You get the Glacier Born at level 5, which makes targets vulnerable to cold damage, so that can be pretty powerful. Level 6 is when you get the extra attack. So again, I like when classes delay that a little bit because the level 5 power spike is pretty powerful. Then we can go with more spells here. Icy Precision gives you increased critical hit chance. Level 8 gives us a large arcing attack, which can hit 3 enemies at a time and deals additional cold and force damage on that. Level 10 will turn your any attacks that have resistance, it'll ignore resistances, and any immunities will get turned into a resistance, although there's not very many of those in the game. And at level 12, you gain necrotic resistance alongside the cold resistance. Now, this mod does have level 20 support. At level 14, you get advantage on concentrations, and you get access to a bonus action, Cone of Cold, which is quite strong. And once we hit level 17, when we take out an enemy, it does a cold damage explosion of a 2d8 cold damage. And at level 18, when you apply cold damage, you get charisma modifier turns of frozen on the enemy. And hitting level 20, our capstone, the Soul of the Frost Wrath, you get health points whenever you kill an enemy equal to twice your charisma modifier. And then we get our final spell. Yeah, I'm a big fan of cold damage, so that's why I like this. You got different cold damage spells. Being able to freeze targets is really fun, and creating ice surfaces below them too. The cool thing is they're all bonus actions, and you have a pretty good chance to freeze with some of our attacks here, which is fun. Oh, there's our companion. So yeah, our leader companion there got aggroed, but yeah, you can freeze them. Freeze is such a fun condition because the enemy can't move, and then you also will deal double damage with force, bludgeoning, and thunder damage. So you can open up some fun new builds, as freeze is not easy to do in the base game. But yeah, you get a bunch of different attacks here. You can potentially freeze with all your attacks, which I think is pretty cool. You got like that Hunger of Adar style attack there, which holds your concentration. You have a Frost Breath attack, which you can potentially freeze targets with as well. So lots of different selection here, and you can knock them prone really quick too. I love cold damage and everything around it, so this is perfect for winter time. And yeah, Frost Reaper by EddieMain21. And finally, we got here the Anvil by Unique Vessel. Now, tanky classes are not very common, and I think they're really fun because they open up different ways to play. Now, this is a hammer and heavy armor focused class. We get the armor defense level 1. Whenever you're using heavy armor, you get +2 armor class, and then you also gain resistance to bludgeoning and thunder damage, and you get forge charges, which are used to power our abilities. Once we hit level 2, we've mastered the use of wielding 2 hammers, and you add your proficiency bonus to offhand attacks. You get the Anvil's Disarm, which uses an attack and or action and 2 forge charges. Focus your attack on the foe's hands, and possibly force them to drop the weapon that they are holding, using a bit of extra thunder damage on that. And there's also the Anvil's Crippling Strike, which can maim their target, making them unable to move, or knock them prone. And I like that you add a little bit extra thunder damage, almost like a smite in a certain sense. Level 3 gives us the Anvil Smash, so you grab your hammers and pretend the target you select is the anvil, adding a 3d6 of thunder damage. Once we hit level 4, we've mastered the use of light hammers, so you add your strength and constitution modifier to attack rolls, or forge charges, and you get the Anvil's Whirlwind, so you spin around and suck everything towards you with a bonus action, a forge charge. Level 5, extra attack, more forge charges, and the Anvil's Fury, doing thunder and force damage, swinging your weapon in a large arc to hit up to 5 enemies at once with 3 forge charges. Level 6 gives us even further armor class when we wear heavy armor, and we get a feat. Level 7 gives us an additional 1d8 of thunder damage on those attacks that we got, and the Anvil's Leap. Leap to your targets, pushing them back and possibly making them fall prone. And you do a 2d10 of thunder damage, knock them prone for 2 turns, 4 forge charges. At level 8, you get the Anvil's Enlarge. Grow large in size, become stronger for 10 turns as bonus action and 3 charges. And you get yourself an extra bonus action so you can turn large and not have to worry. Level 9, one of the best things, Immovable Force. I hate getting shoved to my death, and this will prevent that. You can't be shoved by anything magical or mundane. Level 10 gives us even further armor class, and we also get access to the Anvil's Rage. For 3 turns, gain 3 armor class, 5 stacks of Unstoppable, and 1d8 of extra thunder damage. Unstoppable is something you don't normally get access to. I think that's awesome. And for those that don't know, Unstoppable reduces all the damage you take to 0, and you lose a stack of Unstoppable every time you get hit. So yeah, this makes you pretty tanky. Magic Missile is the best thing to remove this. Level 11 gives you the improved extra attack, Savage Attacker, and more forge charges. Level 12 gives us the Anvil's Critical, so you're trained to strike swift and true. When you land a critical hit, you roll an extra damage die, as well as the critical hit die, and you get 4 more forge charges. This is pretty powerful. Now here's a sneak peek of a mod that I'm actually working on with some throwable weapons here. So the Cold Dwarven Thrower, which works perfectly on this. I love the class icons though. You get that extra thunder damage on the attacks, and this class is meant to be used with dual hammers like you can see here. So this is really fun because getting thunder damage, being able to do these huge arcing attacks is just seriously so cool. You have the Anvil's Rage, which gives you that unstoppable that you're not normally able to get. You can do a thunderous jump here to do a big explosion. Sending hulls and flying. Oh my goodness. This is a fun class you can see right there. Oof, I'm sorry. So yeah, that is the Anvil class by Unique Vessel. So 4 incredible class mods covered today. I'll likely be doing a future video on the leader class because there's just so much going on with the leader class mod. It's a incredible one. So let me know your favorite mod covered today in the comments. Hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Subscribe for more content like this.